All right, so I've got a recording going.
Okay.
And so that this can be a standalone video, I'm going to do a quick recap of where we're at. You brought your computer to me here where before Christmas, and today is March 8th of 2022. So before last Christmas, you had a Windows update that was installing, and you got a prompt asking if you want to restart the computer to finish installing updates, or shut the computer down and it would finish installing updates when you turn it back on. You came back some number of days later, I'm guessing early January maybe.
Correct, yep.
Turned it on and it would not start. And you went through a few startup repair attempts yourself of what it let you go through, and that didn't work. So then you brought it to me, and then this last Saturday we did a live stream on my channel with all the people that are in the chat room and that were in the Zoom session with me, trying different things to solve it. None of those were successful. And then Saturday evening, I did some more work on it. On Monday, I did more work on it, not Sunday, because that was a family day. And my last conversation with you, I told you I had a couple other ideas that I wanted to try and that I thought they were kind of out of the box, a new approach that I hadn't seen anywhere else. And I was hopeful it might work. Well, that did not work.
Is this a good news, bad news? And I got the bad news first.
Well, I told you this in the recording so that we see your honest reaction. So, and it's, I mean, I'm not crushed over it not working. I'm kind of known on my channel to go to unreasonable extents at trying other ways to try to solve something that appears to be unsolvable. And this would have been solvable pretty easily, except that Microsoft changed a couple of strategies that a lot of us in the tech community don't understand why they did that. Their reasoning that they give for it just doesn't hold water. But basically, they disabled system restore so that computers by default do not do system restores anymore. A simple system restore would have fixed this. I have used that method to fix this very problem many times. And when I say this very problem, I mean when an update causes a problem, causes a computer to misbehave. Not necessarily that it won't start, but just causes some kind of a problem. Then the other thing that they did is they disabled the task scheduler from doing automatic registry backups periodically. So that is also off by default. Now, I typically will turn both of those on when I'm setting a computer up for a client, just for this very reason. Now, what I've done, I still have the full backup image of your original drive. And actually, I've been doing this work on a SSD drive because it was just going to run faster for me than using your spinning hard drive. What I have now on that SSD drive is a fresh install of Windows 10, and I have restored Fabs Auto Backup to that computer, which means that copies back all your data files, all your configurations, all your preferences and such. The thing that it does not do, and there is not a nice automated way to do, is to reinstall the programs that you use. But this Fabs Auto Backup does give us a list of the programs that were installed on the old computer. So what I'm anticipating doing during this video now is to review that list with you and have you tell me which items you want us to figure out how to get reinstalled.
Sure.
And so you're in this Zoom session on a phone. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see it, but I will ask you questions. So you don't actually have to try to read everything.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do a little setup.
Yeah, and when that question was posed the other day at the on our Zoom call about, you know, just dump and start over again sort of deal, it's like my mind immediately goes to, all right, where's those disks?
Right.
Where are all those original install disks? Yeah.
Right.
That's always the fun part, right?
We may or may not need them, but at least being able to go off of this list, we can figure out what is needed. A lot of software vendors have downloads available in the event that you don't have your installation media. The other nice thing about Fabs Auto Backup, like for your Microsoft Office, you had Office 2013 on the computer. And there was also license keys for 2010. So I expect somewhere along the line you upgraded to the 2013. And it also tells me that it was Microsoft Office Home and Student 2013. That makes a difference. And I also saw evidence that your license actually came through NIRSoft, N-I-R-S-O-F-T. That is commonly a third-party method of purchasing Microsoft Office.
Sure.
So perhaps that's how you got it. We should be able to download Microsoft Office Home and Student 2013 and install it and get the Fabs Auto Backup license to activate that. The catch is we have to use the correct installation download that works with the license key that you have, or that I have from your computer. That could be a challenge. Now, one of the things that was asked during the live stream last Saturday is one of our very active, regular participants asked, what is so precious that we have to restore everything that was there? And I kind of stopped that in its tracks, because that was that never came from you. That probably came from me and my prior conversations with them of wanting to try to fix this rather than go through reinstalling everything. You never presented to me that this is critically important that we restore this or get the old hard drive fixed. Sometimes that simply can't happen, or gets to an extent of attempting that it's just not worth anyone's time and effort to go further.
Yeah.
And after I've looked over this list of software that's installed on your computer, I suspect it's really not that difficult compared to some other people's computer installations.
Sure, yeah. Well,
okay.
and it's not like I have any pirated software, so that's not an issue. Everything's is a real live, clean install, so I don't have any of those issues. It was back to the, oh man, where are those discs? That was my hesitation when I heard that question.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I didn't want to face that question live, because that was the way that person thought that this had been presented to me was not correct. No fault of his, maybe a fault of mine, in the sense that I just I always like to try to fix things. That's the fun, challenging part for me.
Sure.
Just doing a wipe and reload. Somebody brings a computer in, hey, this won't turn on. Okay, let's do a wipe and reload. Well, where do you draw the line? How much effort are you going to put into it?
Yeah.
And I put a lot of effort into it, and not business-wise, it's not justifiable.
Right.
So now another point let's talk about is, I have learned in an interim conversation with you that you do have a Microsoft account, and then I'm, with my work on this computer, I've also been able to determine that it was actually logging in with a Microsoft account. You may or may not have been conscious of that. It kind of sneaks in there. Now, your Microsoft account, I'm suspecting, is probably a free account that you're not paying a subscription for. Do you know that?
That's, I'm sure, a true statement. I know I'm not paying for it, that I know of anyway. Yeah.
Okay. Because the free version of Microsoft lets you use Microsoft Word and Excel and Outlook on the web. It's not an installed version on your computer. Your Office 2013 was an installed version on the computer. 2013 is going to go out of support in the not too distant future. I think that's 2023. It's typically about 10 years. So 2013, 2023. So you may find that you become interested in just going ahead and stepping up to the new version, depending upon how difficult it seems to be for us to re-authenticate or reactivate the 2013.
Yeah, and that's probably fine. So is that the only way that you can run the new Office? Is web-based programs?
No, if you
good.
pay the subscription.
Because I'm quite often, well, not necessarily this computer, but I may have computers that don't have web access.
Okay.
Where I move.
It's a subscription based now. Yeah, you froze. I still hear you. I don't see you.
There we go. There we go.
There you go.
I don't know where I lost you.
Yeah. The new version, you can still buy Microsoft Office as a one-time purchase, and then you don't have to purchase it again. It's not a good deal. Do you need a minute to fix your setup there?
Well, I opened the door. Maybe I got a better web connection now.
Oh,
how's that?
All right.
So you can buy hard copy versions.
Yes.
Not that.
It's not a very good deal in my opinion. It's some $300 some odd. It seems like it would take about 4 years of subscriptions to equal the same amount of money. 3 or 4 years of paying subscriptions to equal the one-time purchase. But there's another thing: is the one-time purchase is, I think, for the one computer, and you could transfer it, I think, to another computer. I'm suspecting you may be able to install it on a second computer for your own use, but the subscription deals allows you to install on multiple computers and multiple mobile devices for the same subscription.
Okay.
Then if you get the family subscription, that allows you to install on your devices and up to 5 family member devices. They don't have to be nuclear family, and there's there's actually been indication that Microsoft's okay for a small business to be installing that on their employee computers. And then each of those people are signing in with their own Microsoft account, but they're using your family subscription.
Sure.
They can install on 5 computers plus other mobile devices, and each of you gets 1 terabyte of OneDrive storage. So that gives you automatic online storage. And it's a form of backup. Some people argue it's not quite a real backup, but for most people's purposes, it's sufficient for that. So the personal subscription is $69 a year. The family subscription is $99 a year. So when you consider $99 a year, well, it would take 3 years to equal $300, which is about the price of a one person's purchase. But for that $99, 6 people get to use it on multiple devices.
Yeah.
It's a heck of a good bargain in my mind. So that's the basics of that deal. So let's go look at that software list. You don't need to make a decision about Microsoft Office yet.
And to be clear, you're not a Microsoft salesman, right?
No, I don't get anything. I don't get any commission out of that. Now I got to do this on the right keyboard. So that's on the Zoom screen. I'm going to switch over to this screen, and then I'm going to bring up your computer on screen, which will be this button. And then I'll come back to Zoom and share that.
Still here.
Yeah. Are you seeing that now?
I can see it. It's a pretty small font.
It's tiny. Yeah. So all you need to know is the idea of what I'm reading off here. I've got a list here of all the software that Fabs Auto Backup detected as being on your computer.
Can that go onto a fuller screen, or is that the limit?
Well, actually, what would be more of interest is I'll maximize that and then magnify it.
Well,
Zoom in.
I got it. You're good.
All right. So I'm going to scroll down this list, just giving you the idea that it looks like a long list, but a lot of that is duplicative.
Mm-hmm.
Is that actually a word? I don't know.
Duplicative.
So there's checkboxes here. So 7-zip, I'm suspecting you probably don't even need that.
No.
May not have even been aware of it, right?
No idea what it is.
Okay. Adobe Reader, you probably want for PDF files.
Yep.
Alcor Micro USB card reader. You do have a card reader on here, but I'm guessing you probably don't use it. It's for taking a micro SD card from a camera and plugging it directly into one of these slots on the front of the computer.
Yeah, I do that.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Right.
I download photos.
Downloading photos from a camera?
Yeah.
From an SD card?
From the SD card, yeah.
Okay, that's all we need. AMD Install Manager, I have no idea why that's on this computer. This is an Intel computer. You don't recognize it.
No.
AnyTrans, I don't recognize that. Do you?
No idea, no.
Some Apple support items, but if you have an Apple phone when you first connect it to this computer, that will kick off the installation of the Apple software.
Yep.
So we don't need to install those. Here's things for your Canon. That's probably your camera.
Yeah, one time. I don't know what Bonjour was to both the Canon.
Well, Bonjour was with the Apple software.
Okay, all right.
So, yeah, the Canon might be a printer.
Could be a printer, too.
Do you have a Canon printer?
And I think, I'm going to do a walk. Sorry for the background moving. Yes, I currently have a Canon. So
is it an MG 3600?
I believe so, yes.
All right. So I'm just going to check mark one of these. Do I care? Yeah, I'm going to.
I could always reload that software.
Yeah, that's pretty easy to reload. And I usually can't actually install a full driver, but what I could do is pre-download the installation file, which will make it one level easier. Sometimes they'll install offline, meaning telling it that we're going to actually connect the printer later.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So then there's Cyberlink label print. That might be a label printer.
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't have one. So
okay, I'm going to skip over that. EQ5 I don't recognize. Do you?
I definitely need that one.
Oh, you do? What is it?
Yeah, that's Electric Quilt. It's a quilt drawing program software.
Okay.
I do have the original software for that one.
You have the software for that. Okay.
Yes. I just
then
find it.
I'm not going to try to find that and install it. Let you do that.
Other than the fact that all of the quilts that you make, you save them and it goes into EQ's subdirectory. So I don't want to lose that. You see what I mean?
I think I may have seen that EQ subdirectory. Let's go take a look for that now. I'm bringing up a File Explorer window. There was one folder on the root of the C drive called My Book Files that had what looked like a lot of data files, but they only go up through about 2015, so they're kind of obsolete. So that folder is on there. Then I'll go into the Documents folder and see if that EQ folder I can find. And I don't see it as EQ alphabetically.
Or not My EQ either, huh?
My EQ? No. Are you sure the folder name
I don't know. No, I don't remember for sure.
You don't know if it was called EQ. It very well may be that the folder is still in here somewhere, and once you install that software, it become easier to figure out where that folder would be, and then we can wrap that up. Then Google Chrome, I'm sure you want, right?
Yep.
The browser.
Yep.
Google Earth Pro, yes, no?
Yep.
Yes. Okay.
Google Earth, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Google Toolbar for Internet Explorer. Internet Explorer is no longer actually Well, there's an Internet Explorer mode for Microsoft Edge, but we won't worry about that. HP desktop stuff, so that'll all come from doing the HP driver installations. HP NV7640, that sounds like an HP printer.
Right. It's not my CPU. I thought that was an NV.
No, oh yeah, it is. Yeah, the computer is labeled as an NV, and it probably is that. So I'm going to go ahead and mark those. That should come from doing the HP driver installations. HP Google Drive plug-in, that'll probably automatically come from this other stuff. Here's an HP OfficeJet 6950. Yes, no?
Yes, not around anymore. No.
Not around. Skip that. HP Photo Creations.
All of that probably came with that printer.
Yeah. So we won't do that, or the setup or support assistant or HP update. Iris OCR may have also come with it. That's optical character recognition. So when you scan documents, they can be converted to text.
Got it.
You probably don't use that. Okay, iCloud, that'll install with your iPhone. Do you access the iCloud from the computer?
I have, yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to go switch over to File Manager screen. I guess I close that. I'll reopen it, see if there's actually an iCloud folder. There's all your picture folders.
All my photos
there. Yeah. Looking to see if...
Well, I've probably gone either through... I don't know if I've actually gone through an icon, an app,
Yeah, so there is an iCloud Photos folder here. So that'll synchronize with your iCloud account once you log into the iCloud account. I don't know if Fabs Auto Backup transfers the credentials for that. That'll be interesting. Now, something that I can do with Fabs Auto Backup is I've done this restore of Fabs Auto Backup to your computer before installing all the software. After installing the software, I may run that again so that your preferences and settings override whatever those softwares put on there by default.
Gotcha.
Intel Management Engine components, that comes with Intel drivers. Don't need to ask you about all of those. That'll all come with the HP driver assistant. iTunes, do you use that on the computer?
Well, it's part of the Apple.
It typically installs when you... Well, at least
I can't
installs
say I've ever actually used it. No.
You don't use it. That's the question that I'm caring about. So I'm going to remove that check mark. And Message Plus, I think, is also the iPhone. Not sure.
I don't know.
Well, no, the iPhone is iMessage. I don't know what Message Plus is. That doesn't ring a bell to you. Microsoft.
No, actually, I had. Was that on my iPhone, or I had one of my phones was synced up, so all of my messages would show up on screen too as I would be doing stuff.
That sounds like it could. That could be that Message Plus.
Yeah.
Is that something you used to do and don't care about?
Correct.
Okay. Microsoft Edge is automatic. Here's the Microsoft Home and Student 2013 English.
Yeah, like
US.
you say, same with that home program you're talking about. One of my kids was going through college, and everybody could, get a copy through them. So for $20, I got Microsoft Office Home. So, yeah.
Oh, okay, $20. And who did you purchase that through? Do you know?
That was probably Stanislaus State University, Cal State University.
Well, it's likely that I'm not going to be able to find the download media for that then.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to need to go a different direction for Microsoft Home.
Yep.
I don't know whether to leave it. I'll leave a check mark on it because it needs to be dealt with. But now that I know
we'll get lucky, huh?
Well, you got it through the school. Yeah, I could try installing a Home and Student 2013 that I can get elsewhere and just see if it works. If it does, then we don't walk away with that issue from that.
Right.
We can walk away from that issue, but I'm not going to go finding multiple different
That's fine.
renditions of it, because it's quite possible the copy that you get from the school works for the authentication key that's stored on your computer and not any others.
Mm-hmm.
Then Microsoft OneDrive. I'm going to switch back to File Explorer and see if that was actually in use. Here's the OneDrive folder, and no, it just says getting started, so it doesn't look, well, that's getting started on this computer. Excuse me, that's not the right way for me to go. Let me go down, drill down to your user profile, and here's OneDrive. And there, that also doesn't look like it was ever configured. Well, of course not. Well, not necessarily, of course not. How do you respond to that? Were you aware of Microsoft OneDrive?
I know it exists, but it looked like something I didn't want or need, so I never fired it up.
With the free Microsoft account that you have, you get, what is the size? I'm guessing it's about 10 gigabytes of storage, I think it is. Whereas when you're paying the subscription, you get 1 terabyte. And that makes it really nice because it syncs between all of your computers and devices, if that is something that is of use. Perhaps not, because your only method of coming into the Zoom session was on a phone. So that makes it clear you don't have another computer.
Well, I have a what you call it? I have one laptop that's running on Vista, so it's like, okay, never mind.
Oh, okay.
So that's how far behind I am.
All right. Microsoft Silverlight, we don't need to talk about. Update Health Tools, Microsoft Visual, we don't need to talk about. Norton 360.
Do Norton.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my virus protection software.
All right. All right. Windows 10 has Windows Defender that automatically comes with it. For my business clients, I prefer to use that than any add-on antivirus software, because I find
Is that right?
Yeah, because they've caused more troubles, particularly in the office environment. Now, that's not true if the user, you in this case, is aware that it's there and has an awareness of why it's there and what it does. And you're going, when it gives you a prompt or a message on screen, you're actually going to read it instead of just click to dismiss it. Because that's what happens in offices. They're focused on getting their work done. If a window pops up, they've done this right in front of me, they'll click it away without reading it. When they have me there to fix a problem, I say, wait a minute, let's read that. We read the message and, oh, okay, here's simple what we need to do to fix it. They commonly won't read it. So I don't like to install any outside antivirus products. So you have your account credentials and such for reinstalling that? All right. Yeah. Play Ready PC Runtime, that's for AMD, which you don't have. I don't know if there's some other reason. Do you recognize it?
No.
Okay. Product Improvement Study, that's for a printer. We don't care about those. There's
the Envy was the CPU. So
yeah, the Envy was the computer, but Product Improvement Study is where
I don't care.
You're letting them take information from your computer.
Exactly. I don't need that. Yeah.
QuickTime 7, that's with...
Is that Apple?
I think that's Apple. Yeah. So we won't install that. We'll let the Apple do that. Realtek Card Reader. I think that's for the SD card reader. And that should install automatically from the HP drivers. Samsung USB driver for mobile phones.
Don't need that anymore.
Don't need it. All right.
Nope.
Skype.
Yep. I do use that.
You use that. And you have your account credentials for that?
Yes.
All right.
By that you mean logins?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because that should just be logging into their website and then install the software.
Mm-hmm.
TomTom.
Yeah, might as well keep it on there.
Well, it's not on there. We have to install it.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Oh,
this
okay.
is just showing this is a list of programs that were installed on the computer.
Okay.
Okay. Then several years of TurboTax.
Yep.
Now, if you want to be able to access those tax returns on the computer for all those prior years, then each one of those has to be installed individually. If you only care about TurboTax for the next time you do your taxes, then you would install the year for that.
Right.
That you don't need these old years. So
and
do you want
the
old years?
I want the data.
Yeah, the data would be there, but you're not going to be able to open the data to do anything with it unless the old programs are installed. Because as far as I'm aware, the TurboTax 2020 will not open the data from the prior years. I'm not certain about that. You might know better than I.
Well, I know that it goes and gets data out of your previous year and puts it in. So
right.
I don't how it does that. I don't know.
Well, just the previous year. So TurboTax 2020 should be able to retrieve data from the 2019.
Right.
But if you wanted to actually go open your tax returns for 2016,
right,
the 2020 version or 2021 version is not going to do that. But you can always install
and for us
that
to install that, we don't
later.
know if that's, I assume it's possible, but
yeah, I've done that before. I've downloaded the older versions and installed it because I had a client who needed that.
Yeah, let's do that. Click all those then.
All of those, right?
Yeah. Because I have gone back a couple of times, unfortunately.
All right.
And I don't need the Android again.
Okay. Wild Tangent Games, I think, comes to your computer automatically from something else. Probably don't care about it. PC Health Check is automatic, and then Zoom.
Yep. Need Zoom. Interesting.
Okay. So now if this window that we're looking at, Fabs Auto Backup, put this icon on the desktop as an HTML file. So when I opened it, it automatically opened into a browser. For me to save all those check marks, what I'm going to do is come here into this blank area and right click and choose Save As. And then I'm on the desktop already. And I'm going to add to the end of this file name, Fabs Auto Backup Pro Programs. Actually, I don't need the Fabs Auto Backup. I'll just call it Installed Apps with check marks. So that's stored on the desktop that I can go back and reference. And then before I close that, I'm going to test that by minimizing the browser. Then find that. Here's that icon. Move it down to the end of all these, and then double click on it to verify. Oh, it did not give me the check marks. I thought it would. I hadn't tried that before. Now, another thing that's interesting with this Fabs Auto Backup, if I click Show Details, Show Details, gives me the web addresses for all these different products.
That's handy.
Yeah. Yeah, so I can just click on these. Like here's the Google Earth index, it says, and that's a support URL. So I'm going to try this. I haven't actually tried from that link before. And that takes us right here to launch. So I'm going to launch Google Earth. But you actually had the program installed on the computer. All right. Now, what am I going to do with those check marks not saved? Well, I've got it recorded on a video now. So what I can do is just come back. I'll just leave this open, then I'll go make my notes somewhere. Let's see, the one where I had all those check marks is where? There, this one. has the check marks. Yeah, I really thought that that would save with the check marks.
Here's save as
let's see.
Text file
I'm going to try
instead.
print. Print and save it as a PDF. See, there's the check marks. So that's going to do it. Yeah. And then save. Do that to the desktop also. And call that installed apps, popping up a name that it already sees, and I'm going to overwrite that one since the other one serves me no good at all. But wait a minute, this is a PDF. Why is that doing an HTML? Now, I want to use that name, and I'll take out the .html. So this says save as type PDF file, and then click save. Now, I have not yet installed Adobe Acrobat Reader, so this is going to open into Microsoft Edge. Boom chakalaka.
With check marks.
Yeah, with check marks. That works. All right. So I'm going to do those installations, the ones that I can anyway. I'm also going to sign into your Microsoft account. Now, we might get a two-factor authentication. Do you know if you have that set up for your Microsoft account?
It did not ask me to do that the other day, so probably
when you
not,
signed into
I'll
the account, but it might have known the device that you were working with. So let's go.
Oh, that's true.
I'm going to go to office.com in the Edge browser, and we're going to try signing into your account. Now, are you still seeing the screen?
Yes.
Am I still sharing that with you? Okay. Now click sign in. And then here's your email address. I'm going to pause the video while I put that in and your password. I'm going to pause the recording. And then we'll come back and unpause the recording afterward. Here we've successfully logged into the account, and we get an option here to stay signed in, which means if you come back to the Microsoft 365 site, you won't have to sign in again on this computer. Is that your preference, or would you prefer to have to log in again?
Probably prefer to log in. It's
okay.
Something I never use, but yeah.
Okay. Stay signed in. Now you were logging in with your Microsoft account, logging into Windows with your Microsoft account. We don't have to re-engage that if you don't want the computer to be logging into your Microsoft account.
So it's running in the background, or it's doing something which
it's providing more information to Microsoft that they use for their telemetry, where they gather statistics and such.
Yeah.
So, do you have a preference? The simpler.
I tend to say no. Enough Big Brother watching what you're doing, I guess.
Prefer not to have Big Brother watching? Okay.
Right.
Then, so we'll say no to this. Now, do you want this question to come up again, or do you want this no to be a permanent answer?
Oh, they can bring that question up again.
They can bring it up again.
In case I change my mind.
Okay, so we're going to say stay signed in, no, and we're not going to put a check mark. And
got it?
I got to use the right mouse.
Yeah.
So that gets us signed in. And that message about new Office kind of gives me a confirmation that you probably haven't logged in here again. They have a prompt here for installing Office, but that would only work if you've actually paid for the subscription.
Gotcha.
And up here, going to your Microsoft account, that's where we find information about that. Now, you told me you logged into your Microsoft account while I've been working on your computer, and you actually saw that your computer was actually registered in your Microsoft account.
That's correct.
Now, this one is not currently registered there unless we do sign in using your Microsoft account. And we've just said we're not going to do that. Okay, now what I wanted to do there is, I guess, verify the credentials work. And you probably, do you have a Google account?
I do.
Yeah. So in Google Chrome, we'd sign into that in order for you to actually, and yeah, you had to because you were interacting, I think, in the chat room on my YouTube video, which you'd have to have a Google account for that. Now, yes. I haven't got those credentials from you yet. We're not going to have you give that to me over the video. I think we're probably ready to end this video. We'll keep on the Zoom call so I can get that credential from you.
Excellent.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, so here we go, ending the video with that button. Goodbye.